Welcome to the underground, you rebel scum. This is the American Expat, and I wanted to take a break from the usual, at least what has become the usual for the channel. You don't have to wait for film to come back, and talk about the cost of film. Because let's face it, if you're shooting film, it's become a very expensive hobby. I look back, it was 2007 when I picked up my last roll of film, or what would become my last roll of film for a long, long time. It was for a trip to China, my very first trip to China, something that would become a big moment in my life. And, I picked up the roll, went to China, took photos, and came back, got a digital camera, and never looked back until about a year ago, when I was on the internet looking at people's posted photos, and there were some that looked really amazing. They're like, it's film, the film, this is a certain kind of film. And I'm like, wow, that looks really neat. How can I achieve such beauty in my own photos? It turns out, after doing some research, the only way to achieve that look in reality is to actually shoot with film. So no big deal. I'll just run down to the local Walmart and pick up a roll of film and, load it in a film camera, which should be easy enough to find. Turns out that that's not easy to do. They don't have film cameras at the store anymore. Film, sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't. And the biggest surprise was the 1 hour photo. It was gone. I remember when I left back in 2007, I guess between then and now, all of that stuff disappeared without my even noticing. Now, part of that is because I was living abroad, but the other part is because I was shooting digital. I didn't need 1 hour photo. But yeah, I did manage to find an SLR. I loaded up the film, I took photos, and I went to Walmart to get them developed. And guess what? They don't have 1 hour developing anymore. For those of you who are new to this whole thing, who were too young to remember those days, yeah, it used to be that you could go to Walmart with your roll of film, leave it with them, and in an hour they would be developed, printed out, and packaged into a neat little envelope, all for about $7. Now, you can still do some development for about $7, but it's going to be 2 weeks, and you're probably not going to get those negatives back. They're going to toss them. And if you do get digital scans, they're not going to be very good ones, and yeah, so on and so forth. The convenience of film photography has long since passed. So that leaves me in the situation that I'm in, where I'm looking at it. Oh, and yeah, did I mention that the film itself, the rolls of film, cost about 5 times what they used to? Yeah, it used to be, and it was the predecessor to this one, the Fuji Superior. That's the roll that I picked up when I went into Walmart all that time back in 2007. $2 a roll, especially if you were getting it packaged in like 3. $2 a roll. No big deal. Now it's $10 a roll. And that's if you want to get the cheap film. If you want to shoot on something special, let's say like Ektar 100 here, yeah, that's going to set you back $15 to $20. And again, all the inconvenience of getting it developed. For me, if I want to get my negatives back, sure, you can send it in the mail somewhere and hopefully get them back. But if I really want to get it somewhat quickly, like let's say within less than a month or so, I have to drive 2.5 hours to Ohio and get it developed at a place. And thankfully, McAllister Photo is able to do it within, an hour or so. And then I could take it back and scan it and do all of that stuff. But yeah, what a change. What a change it's been. It's become quite expensive and a little bit shocking. I'm not sure when that transition happened. I want to say probably around 2011, 2013. But I wasn't around for that. I wasn't even paying attention, and all of the stores just pulled out all of their film processing stuff, and now they just send it off to a lab somewhere. It's kind of strange to think about. This technology, the film negatives and all of that, it's been around for over 100 years. And now that technology is on the verge of being lost. Now, a lot of people are talking about, tariffs and all this stuff. I don't think that's, sure, in the short term, it's going to be kind of a big deal. But when it comes to chemicals, they're pretty cheap to make. Once you have the facilities in place to actually make the stuff, which Kodak is in the United States, once they start sourcing their chemicals in the United States, it's not really going to change the price all that much. But, yeah, there might be an even bigger bump or an interruption in supply. Of course, Kodak, let's face it, it's not all that easy to get. The Fuji stuff, I can go to Walmart or I can go to Target and I can pick up a roll of Fuji film, either 200 or 400, no big deal. But anything Kodak, For me anyway, I have to drive 2.5 hours again out to Ohio, and then I can get a roll of the stuff that I really want. Now, I understand that supposedly these two are the same thing. According to a lot, that did not focus on my face. Come on, camera. Here it is. Look at this. Look at these. That's what, no, it's not going to focus on them. Anyway, you'll have to take my word. It's Kodak Gold and Fuji 200. It's not actually the film. It's just the empty boxes that I used for making films. Anyway, yeah, this stuff, I look at that as an advantage. This is cheaper. If it is Kodak Gold, then hey, I'm getting the Kodak Gold for cheaper. Not that Kodak Gold is special film or anything, but people take beautiful photos with it, right? Anyway, you get my point. This stuff is getting expensive. Now, especially in my case, if I factor in gas and the cost, which is going to be, maybe like $10 if I want to get the film processed and I don't want scans or any of that stuff. About another $10. So let's say I get the cheap film for $10, then $10 to have it done. That's $20. It's expensive. And heaven forbid it's something like Cinestill, or the Ektar 100 or the Portra 160 that I shot through the other day. Some of the photos turned out, but they don't always work, and not like digital. It's getting quite expensive and time consuming to do. So what is it that makes it worthwhile? I would be curious if you shoot film, what is it about the film that keeps you coming back despite all of the inconvenience that we experience now in our strangely more modern world than what we had before? What is it that keeps you coming back to the film? Is it just the look, the aesthetic? Is it the nostalgia, the analog feel? What is it about the stuff that brings you back? For me, of course, it has something to do with the look and some nostalgia. I felt actually kind of sad when I saw that, hey, this stuff is going away. This is going to be a lost technology before long. It's not like you're going to be able to make film in your house. This takes some serious industrial, capacity to be able to make film like what Kodak can do and what Fujifilm used to do. That's not something you're going to be able to just put together in your house. And if not enough people are shooting film, now I understand there's been a bit of a comeback. I guess people are feeling, nostalgia. I'm going to go with the nostalgia. If it's something else in your case, you can let me know. But I guess that brought it back a little bit from the brink. Hopefully it's here to stay. It's funny. I do have a roll here of Fuji Superia 400. It's very expired, and I don't know that this stuff was kept very well. Someday I'll put it in a camera and run through it, I guess, just to see what it does, but I'm pretty sure that stuff was not kept well and will probably not result in very beautiful images, at least not on purpose. It might be beautiful in an abstract sense, but as for making beautiful photography, I don't know about that. But it is getting quite expensive. Anyway, I've been talking long enough. I wanted to put this together so that I had something to talk to you guys about photography-wise or whatever. I'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think and how you feel about this film stuff in the comments. If you think that it's a waste of time, you should just pick up one of those Fuji cameras and use the film simulations or something like that. I don't know. Somebody had mentioned in the comments about using film recipes, I guess, on Sony cameras. I kind of looked into it. It sounds interesting. I'll have to look a little bit deeper and try it out with the camera to see if I can get anything that looks like film. Maybe that would be, I can take the beautiful photos like film without having to spend the money. Probably not. I still think that the only way you're actually going to get the film aesthetic is to use film. I'll leave it at that. I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. ไปพะวงหลงเฝ้าสาวเจ้าบางประกงทางไว้งงหลงเกิน